Um, this is kind of awkward, but hi. This is my first ever attempt at a YouTube video, like in person, live, I guess. So this is me. Hi, I'm Luis, and today we're at the gym. I'm gonna be like a working out thing, even though I'm not a great workout person. I'm barely getting into it. But little story about me. I had cancer about 2 years ago, and crazy way to start off a first video, right? But I had cancer. I had brain cancer. Well, it was a brain tumor actually, so it's called germinoma, and I had it 2 years ago. It was very serious. I found out because I was at work. I was a security guard, private security guard for DS. If you know DS, was you know what's up. What's it called? I was feeling extra sleepy throughout the days. I was starting to lose my memory. I had started getting double vision, and I just started feeling weak and overall not right. And it happened for like a week, and I was just like, I'm just tired because I would work 12-hour shifts from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I was like, maybe that's why, it's perfectly normal, eventually your body gives out from pulling too much overtime and everything. So yeah. But then after a week, I was like, I slept a lot and everything, and I don't think this is right. Double vision, all that stuff, I don't think it's like, it started clicking to me, it's not right. So I went to the doctor and I told him my symptoms and everything. Shout out to Dr. Roberto Duran. He's retired now, right? God bless him. But he was my doctor that diagnosed me. He was like, I told him my symptoms. He was like, afterwards, he was like, Mijo, I think I know what you have. I pray to God it's not what I think it is, but I think I know what it is. We're gonna do some tests with you at the hospital, and we're gonna see if I'm correct, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. And I was like, what do you think it is? And he was like, I don't know yet. I don't want to say anything yet, but just go do the test. I went to the hospital, I did the test and everything, and I came back. Well, actually, I went back to work, finished my shift, then actually, that's a lie. Before I finished my shift, around 4 p.m., my doctor called me. He was like, Mijo, can you come back to the clinic? I have the results and everything, and I want to just let you know. I was like, okay. So I told my supervisor, I was like, hey, they're calling me at the clinic and everything like that. They got my test done and all, and they're gonna tell me like what's up. So they were like, okay, yeah, it's cool, go. And plus I went, I drove. I got to the clinic, and I got there, and he's like, all right, mijo, you need to sit down. I'm like, I knew right then and there it's something bad. So I sat down, and he was like, do you have any family with you or anything like that right now? I'm like, no, I'm by myself. He's like, all right, well, just wanted to let you know you have cancer. You have a brain tumor, right? To be more specific, it's called germinoma. And he's like, I'm gonna send you to a neurologist in San Antonio, and they're gonna see what's up, do some tests on you, maybe surgery, maybe radiation or chemo. We don't know yet, but that's the gist of it. And I was just there in shock for like a minute. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I was completely numb to it, but I was still in shock though, And he was like, do you want me to call somebody, or do you need, some support or something like that? I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, thank you. It's like, so like, is that it or anything like that? He's like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, okay, so I'll get a call from the neurologist and stuff. He's like, yeah, we'll get a call and everything. But that's basically it, man. You have brain cancer. It's like, I'm sorry. I was like, is it like, am I gonna die for sure or what? He's like, I don't know, but more likely not, more likely you're okay, but there's always a possibility. So just live, you know. And I was like, okay. So I went back home. I was still numb and everything, and I gathered up my. Well, first I told my first family. I have two families. So I told my first family, right? My mom, my stepdad, and well, that's pretty much it. Just my mom and my stepdad, because my siblings, they live in their own houses and far away. I told them, I gathered them, and I was like, Ama, y pues, I forgot how to say stepdad in Spanish, but I was like, hey, I got my test and everything, and they said I have cancer, brain cancer. And my mom and my stepdad started crying. I felt so terrible telling them that, but I told them, and they hugged me, and my mom hugged me really tight, you know. And she was like, "Ay, mijo, like everything's gonna be okay and everything." I'm like, "I know, mom, everything's gonna be fine. I have God on my side either way." But she was just crying, bawling her eyes out, and my stepdad too. They gave me a hug, they gave me kisses, and they were just like, "We're here to support you no matter what. We got you, you know." And then I went to my dad's house, my second family. I went over there and I gathered up. I waited like about an hour and a half for all my siblings to get there. They live close. So I waited for them to get there to my dad's house. And at the time I took my girlfriend with me. So they were like, because they all went, all my nieces and nephews, they were visiting in town. So they went, and after an hour and a half, they finally got there. My dad was there, my stepmom was there, my siblings, my nieces, my nephews, my brother-in-laws, everybody was there. It was the whole family. And they sat down, they gathered around me, and I was like, okay. They at first they thought I was gonna announce my girlfriend at the time being pregnant. So they were kind of excited. I'm like, and they were telling me like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant. I'm like, no, it's something else. They're like, was what? I'm like, I got some tests done. My results came back, and I have cancer. And I told them, brain cancer. They all started crying. I told them, I don't know what's gonna happen next, or like, you know, like if I'm gonna die, live, or if I'm gonna be sick, if I'm gonna be, you know, just broken or what. But for now, it's just I have cancer. And you know, and yeah, they all started bawling as well. They started crying, and they started telling me I'm sorry and everything. And I was like, it's okay, you know, it's perfectly fine. And yeah, that's they gave me hugs, really tight hugs and everything. They told me that they loved me and that everything would be okay if I ever needed anything. They're here, you know. My dad, he hugged me too. He said he loved me. He's a cancer recipient as well, so he knew what's up. He knew how hard it was gonna be and everything. So, but yeah, I went through all that cancer and everything. Went through 2 surgeries, VP shunt placement, and I went through 5 weeks of radiation. During those 5 weeks, I lost my father. He passed away on my 3rd week of radiation, and it made radiation a lot more difficult, but I still carried on, and I was numb. I didn't cry until like 5 months later, because I was completely numb from the radiation, I guess, or something, or the surgeries, I don't know. But yeah, I lost my father. I've been through so much in these past 3 years. But we're here at the gym today, trying to work out, see what's up. Hopefully I'm able to film. It's Planet. Planet doesn't really let you film, but we'll see what I get. All right, see you in a little bit. Bye.